So today's card for you. Oh, ho, ho, water. Emotions seem to be flying pretty friggin' high. Are some of you still crying over some spilled milk that happened? If you are, you really need to stop, clean it up, and start anew. Learn from the mistake and do it proper the first time. The card that you have received is the Five of Water. Water is a sign of emotion. So if you're looking at the element and what the element corresponds with, water corresponds with emotions. The Five of Water, though, is letting me know that some of you are dealing with an issue that you had a certain vision of way it was supposed to work out, like how it was supposed to turn out. And it's not turning out that way, but you're not seeing the positive in the way it turned out. You're focusing on the negative side of things and how it didn't turn out to your liking. Because of the way it turned out, that's the way it was supposed to happen. You cannot force something to turn out the way you envisioned it. Nothing usually ever turns out the way we envision it. It turns out the way it's supposed to turn out, if that makes any sense. So stop focusing on how it didn't happen and start focusing on that you actually got what you wanted. It may not have turned out the way you wanted it to turn out, but you still got what you wanted. And I do know that there are a couple of you still not seeing the positive in your current situation. And I know who you are, and you know who you are because you just know this card is resonating with you like a motherfucker. You're not seeing the positive out of the situation because you're too busy focused on the lack of and not the positive side of the things. If you put too much focus on the lack and the negative of, you are putting that out there. So instead of having returned joy, happiness, positivity, you're putting out there negative, why don't I have this, yada, yada, yada. It's easy to see the lack. It really is. It's so much easier to be negative than it is to be positive. And a lot of us know that. Some of us deal with depression. And depression, when it takes over, it fucking takes over. And we usually try to get help for that. It's switching that mindset is very important. And when we're too busy focusing on a lack of, or things didn't turn out the way I wanted it, so I'm not happy about it, even though you kind of already got what you wanted, it just didn't turn out the way you seen it happen. That's a positive thing, right? That is a positive thing. Maybe, for an example, you wanted to get a job at Sears, right? But you wanted the administration position at Sears. But maybe at that time they're not hiring for an admin position, but they did call you back because they have an opening position in sales. And you're like, well, I wanted to really work for Sears and I really wanted to go into the admin, but these motherfuckers offered me a sales position. You want to know what the positive is in that? The positive is you actually got a foot in the fucking door for Sears. Okay, it may not be in the position that you wanted it in. It may be the same amount of money. It may be the same everything, but it's not an admin position. So you're looking at it like, well, they didn't offer me what I want, so I must suck. They offered me a sales position. What the fuck is this, right? You're not seeing the positive in the whole thing. There's your foot in the door, right? A lot of places love to hire within and promote from within, right? Just because you took that sales job with Sears doesn't mean that you can't have a position in admin. I'm just making an example of that. Don't take it as a serious thing, but I'm just trying to give you an example of what that means when you're not 100% negative, but you're 80% negative of the situation. And it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to try to write some of these things out that are really good for you, that you have positive in your life, because there is always a positive in there over a negative. And if you have lost something, okay, maybe a friendship didn't turn out the way it's supposed to, you're allowed to grieve. You're allowed to mourn that. You're allowed to mourn whatever has taken itself away from you. But it doesn't mean you stay there. It doesn't mean you stay stuck in the mourning process. And it means mourn, do your grieving, allow yourself to heal, because that's the only way you're going to heal. You have to feel those feelings. Then pick yourself up and move forward. And that goes with anything. anything. When you lose a loved one, like I lost my grandmother, it really hit me hard. She was someone who raised me as a little girl. I lived with her. And when she passed away, my whole world crashed. And I didn't eat, I didn't sleep, I wasn't happy. I allowed myself to feel those feelings. I allowed myself to mourn. I allowed that closure to happen. And then I was able to move forward. And I'm better now than I was before. But that's just an example of allowing yourself to feel those feelings and allow yourself to mourn and heal. Use that process to heal. The same thing over, not seeing the way things